Okay. Welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, definitely. So, before I start, I just want you to say your name so I don't screw it up by saying your last name wrong.
Thank you for asking. Hi, my name is Sabrina Jieafa. Actually,
Okay.
I'll plug your show. Is it just the Grue Show?
The Grue Rume Show.
Okay, yeah. Ready? Hi, my name is Sabrina Jieafa, and you're watching the Grue Rume Show.
All right. Thank you so much. I
Is
love
that
it.
good?
Yeah. So, so like the first time I want to start out asking you, typical question I always start out with is like, I see you juggle a lot of things. Like you act, you write, you do stunts, you sing, you model, and like, how do you juggle all that? Like, do you find time?
Oh my gosh, you know what? I'm just so, dorky about all this stuff. I love it so much that
Mhm.
genuinely I find joy in doing it. I just love doing it all. Like I see that as my break, like when I'm taking a break from writing, I'm acting. When I'm not acting, I'm making a song. When I'm not making a song, I'm dancing. And all of those things are just like work, but it's also recreational for me, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So yeah, I really do love doing all those.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I see you were in like two music videos for band. Like do you write your own music too? Like you sing and write your own music?
Well, I mean, stay tuned this year because I might be releasing. I've written a disgusting amount of songs so far.
Oh wow.
Um, I can tell you that I'm leaning more into the pop R&B genre because I was born and raised in Miami, Florida. So that's kind of, the vibe that I grew up around. I remember going
Yeah.
to school on the bus, or it wasn't really a bus, it was like a van. And I would drive to school and all that would be playing was like Usher, Chris Brown, Shakira, all
Oh,
that, all that good stuff. So I think that definitely influenced my music taste and definitely influenced the type of music that I'm making right now. So stay
okay.
tuned. Hopefully.
I like all kinds of music. Like my best kind I think is like rock and roll
Love rock.
metal and all that stuff. But I just like you, I grew up on pop music. Like me growing up, my pop music was Paula Abdul, Janet Jackson,
Same.
Madonna, and all those like that. That's the they were the pop stars that were big when I was growing up.
Yeah, they're awesome. I think it just really influenced the way that I see things and also seeing the behind the scenes of all the music videos that I've been because I think I've been in like four or five now.
Oh wow,
Fast
okay.
forwarding, yeah.
Damn.
Um, but working with Brand of Sacrifice was awesome. That was kind of where I got my start in
Yeah.
stunts and stuff like that. And so that was really cool because we got to work with samurai swords and just learning how that worked with choreography and stunt choreography and stuff. So pretty cool.
Wow.
I had a lot of fun.
So how was that like? Like I was gonna ask you about that. Was that your introduction to doing stunts is when you were in the music video?
It was. There were two music videos. The second one, I was filming something else at the time. So I wasn't able to do stunts in that video, but my lovely co-stars were able to, kick that out of the park or knock that out of the park. And, but yeah, the first one was definitely my introduction to stunts. And I really want to, get back into that because that was also was so much fun.
Wow. So when you were waving around the sword, did you actually get to like stab anyone in the music video or cut their head off or something?
Yeah, yeah, but I also died, so I guess I got my I got my karma there. So you're
What's
talking
that
to a
thing?
ghost man.
Is that a saying? You live by the sword, you die by the sword, right?
Yes, yeah,
Isn't that
exactly.
nice?
It was a honorable death, we'll say.
Yeah, right, right, exactly. There you go. And you also do shoots, right? You model too.
I do. That was actually my introduction to the entertainment industry as a whole.
Oh, good out.
So when I moved over to Colorado and I lived there for 10 years, I actually started off modeling. And a good friend of mine who unfortunately has passed now, he actually helped me get comfortable with modeling. And I kind of realized my passion for not only the arts, but true self-interpretation, if that makes any sense, through the arts. And he really helped me with that. But yeah, Anthony, shout out Anthony, love you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so that was when your passion started. Then, doing that's when everything started with like music and acting and stunts and.
Yeah, I kind of well, it started when I was like 7 and my
Okay.
like my love of like the arts. I always knew I wanted to be in entertainment, but I saw this like PBS special of the prima ballerina at the time, and I saw her and I saw the way the audience was looking at her, and I that's how it kind of like burdened my passion for the arts. And I was like, oh, I want to make people feel like that. She's like you could see people crying or people like, oh my gosh, like what is she doing? What's she gonna do next? And so yeah, I think it's
Oh,
really
wow.
cool.
Okay. And when you first started to act, like what was the first role you ever had for either like film or television?
I when I was like 13 or 14 or 15, I kept telling my mom, I was like, I'm not ever gonna get a real job. I want acting to be my first job and then I'll get a real job. And she was like, okay, you're literally a kid. I don't care. Like she wasn't forcing me or anything like that. And so I was like, I think it was $150. I was an extra on an HP commercial. And
Nice.
um it was shot in Colorado and they like rented out this whole bakery for the entire night. And that's how I first learned how long film shoots go. But also, I learned we got like a snow flurry machine because out of all the days that it snows in Colorado, it wasn't snowing that day, so they had to bring out a snow machine.
Oh,
And
wow.
I don't know if you knew this, but fake snow is actually made of soap, and that's when I realized that it was yeah,
Wait,
soap
really?
shaving. Yeah, soap
I
shaving.
never knew that.
I didn't either, but it was pretty like you figure it out when you hold your tongue out, and then like oh that's
You're like,
that's
wait
what
a
I
minute,
found out.
why does this taste like soap?
Right? Like your makeup starts washing off, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
at least that was clean.
Wow, I learned something new today. Like I never knew that when they had the fake snow and said it's actually soap.
Now you know. Now you know.
Exactly. And the the role that you've done that won you awards is Egghead and Twinkie. That started out as a short film and it became a main film, and you were part of the short too, right?
Yeah, so it was originally it was a feature adapted from the short film. Um so we started off on that and then just from the success that came from the short film, we all collectively decided like, okay, this needs to be something bigger. Like um but yeah, we won the grant for WOMAS, Women Making a Film, or Women Making Film, or something like that. And they were like, "We'll give you this amount of time to make the feature," and so that's what we did.
Wow, amazing. Like, hey,
Thank you.
anytime you could go from making like a little short film and the people love it so much that they want to turn it into this big main film, like that's really cool. That's awesome.
And it's like making a short film. everyone on the casting crew from that day remembers filming for that. It was like 3 day shoot.
Oh,
We all
really?
remember filming from that day. It was definitely special. We knew it was going to be something special. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. And Sarah was the one that directed the film and made it, right? And and
Yeah.
um and how was the experience like working with Sarah? I was reading on the line that you and Sarah bonded over the film, right?
We did. I think because our experience as not only Asian Americans, but mixed Asian Americans, also
Mm,
women of color, we formed a really close bond because we knew that this was something important that we wanted to showcase throughout the short film and the feature film. So I remember we would have like really long talks about the way that we wanted to portray specifically Twinkie, her relationship with Egghead, her relationship with Jess, um, and BD, and kind of her navigating the world as a young woman of color and also coming of age, which is another whole difficult thing, and also
yeah.
being gay, which is like a total other different thing. So
Oh, yeah.
it's like we really, really worked incredibly hard together to form and shape someone that was more three-dimensional.
Definitely. Yeah. Like it was great to watch that and see how she starts out to where she goes.
Yes,
And
her journey. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, that I was trying to look for the word. Yes, her
You're right.
her journey. and
Me.
and basically Twinkie is like you were saying, a queer mixed woman, and she has her friends, and she comes out, and like how was it like for you to play her and actually going through her jour- journey from the start of the film to the end.
It was, I always say this to any of my friends who are like taking the monster of creating a feature film. After you finish, you'll feel like you could do anything. And I'm just so glad that I got to do this with my co-star, Louis Tomio. We always say this to each other because it's our first feature film that we acted in, that we're like, we're glad that we didn't do this alone because this is
Yeah.
definitely a two-person job. But for Twinkie specifically, it was such a special role for me, I think, because it was one of the roles that was closest to who I was as a person. So,
Okay.
I was able to relate on so many different levels. And I always say I am Twinkie. And I always tell Sarah, like, I don't care if I'm 86, I will always come back to Twinkie, always come back to her because she's my favorite. But it was amazing on some days, and then some days, when you're filming the more emotional scenes,
Yeah.
it's it. I was actually going through and grieving during a lot of the filming. Actually, I had lost like 3 family members during that time, all in a
Oh,
row
really?
that year, and had like gone through my first like serious relationship. So I was
Oh,
truly grieving. And so I hoped that whatever I was going through that experience would kind of, and was an incredibly cathartic experience for me in a way that I could kind of be present and shell out a character that had real feelings, because those were my real feelings. And I hope that people got that. But also on the days that were like amazing, like 90% of the rest of the film was amazing when I didn't have to cry on camera.
yeah.
And it was so fun. If you could just imagine going to work every day and laughing your butt off, like that's just laughing until you cry every day. It was just me and Lewis in the car, in a diner, running away. Like it was just the most fun that you could ever have. So yeah, I'll always remember that experience.
Ah, sweet. And how was it like filming with Lewis? Because most of your scenes are basically with him.
Yeah, I mean, he's still to this day, I still consider him to be one of my very, very good close friends. I like texted him the other day. I was like, I miss you. And he would like he texts me about like TikToks that I don't tag him in, and he's like, you didn't tag me in this one, and I'll like I'll repost it, but I won't tag him, and he like gets
Okay.
mad at me for that. And so it's funny because and we get asked this question a lot of how did you like forge a relationship, and it was like we just were friends before we filmed. We had met on the short film before,
Yeah.
and even on the short film for rehearsal for that, I knew immediately that this would be somebody. This would be a very special relationship. So I consider him to be a good friend, and I think that that's why the relationship was received realistically on screen because that's how really. And he does get on my nerves sometimes, and so that's kind of the duality of friendship. I think that's
Yeah, exactly.
but yeah, again, going to work every day, crying until we laugh, just being the worst. But no, he's awesome. I love him so
Nice. And when did you find out that that it was actually being turned into a full length film?
probably when we won the grant because
Okay,
we
okay.
well I didn't know at the time that this was a grant to further the short film into a feature film adaptation. We just thought like it was or I just thought it was a grant. But for the WOMAS Film Festival, when we won that during the short film, they flew us out. It was like a whole like celebrity moment. I was like, oh my god, I feel like a famous person. And we won the prize, and we were like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And then Sarah was like, okay, talk to you in a year. And so she wrote and planned and everything like that. And I think it was through an email where they were like, okay, yeah, we officially want you on board for the feature film. So yeah.
Okay. Oh wow, awesome. And and whether it's the short or the main film, the feature film, do you have a certain scene that you had the most fun with?
Yes. It was probably the most difficult one as well to film, but my favorite by far has to be the dine and dash scene. Because there's just a lot of things. I mean, during that film, I had to get like my driver's license.
Oh
And
really?
so, yeah, I was like just learning how to drive during that time. So it was
Oh
like
wow,
the
okay.
day and night time of the dine and dash scene when we had to like, spoiler alert, take the car back. That was genuinely me being terrified. And so when you hear me scream, and Lewis too, like Lewis was also terrified. And he's so sweet. I remember after every take, he'd be like, "Do you need help? Do you need me to like drive back to the thing?" And then we can, because some scenes I really had to drive. But
Well, yeah.
shout out to cast and crew where they did that. But during the chase scene, Roger, who plays Bob in Egghead and Twinkie, he runs incredibly fast. He plays the angry diner that chases after us. He runs incredibly fast. Me and Lewis, when we are look scared, we're actually terrified because we're like, he's gonna catch us. We have to like keep up, and so that was a lot of fun. We did a lot of takes of that, but that kind of gave us the opportunity to improv on Egghead and Twinkie, and whenever we had that opportunity, it's just a great spitballing back and forth, and we have really great chemistry when it comes to the improv. So yeah.
You're like, we were really scared. That wasn't acting. That was real.
It was real. It was really real. So
Okay.
verified.
And was there any funny or cool stories that happened while you were filming that happened on the set?
There is a lot of cool and funny stories. Um, one funny story. I mean, there's just too many to remember, but I think the one that
I'm
I
sure.
remember the most that it was probably for like it always has to do with like me driving because like there's a joke going around on set where everybody was like, "Oh, look, like here's the best driver on set." You know, but the scene where I'm like leaving Egghead from the motel, um, there were some scenes where I couldn't drive, and there were some scenes where I could drive. And there's this one
Okay.
scene where like I have to speed out in the corner and like hit the street. and I think I hit a curb, and that was like scary. And I was, but they kept it in. So if you rewatch the movie, you'll see that I that's real. That was me improving. So we'll say.
Yeah, hey, yeah, that's a good way of doing that. That's a good way of improv.
Like, yeah, okay, Twinkie doesn't really know how to drive, so I'll just hit this curb. Totally, like,
I know
totally
how
meant
to
to do that.
drive. I just
Totally.
did it to make it funny. I really do know how to drive.
Oh my gosh. And Lewis still talks to me. He's like, you can't drive. I'm like, I have my license. Like, I can drive now. Let me tell you.
Nice. And you know when you're filming it, like you were saying, it's long hours and long days, and you're not always on screen at every single shot. So when you're between takes, what do you like doing?
Eat, sleep. Again, me and Lewis were attached at the hip. So whatever he would do, I would do. And whatever I would do, he would do. So I remember we had such separation anxiety. There was like this scene, the nightclub scene actually, where he had to like
Mhm.
film by himself, and he would like text me. He did this all the time whenever he had a scene and I didn't, and I wasn't on set. He'd be like, Sabrina, like, where are you? Da 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 da. Come to set. Come to set. And I'd be like, what? Like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And I'd like speed over to set, and then I was like, why did you text me like that? And he's like, oh, just because like I just wanted you to be here. And I was like, like I thought something happened to you. But craft napping, I'm sure there's tons of pictures of us sleeping on set. Um,
Nice.
just joking. We would just gossip a lot, gossip with like the cast and crew and just
Yeah.
like, yeah, all that fun stuff. So
So how was the food on set? What kind of stuff did they have?
oh my gosh, it was different every time. I think my top favorites and one that I actually have to have on every set now. I like try to if they don't have it on set, I'll go buy it. But like the Red Bull Blue or like the
Oh,
Red
okay.
Bull watermelon flavor, which is so bad because my caffeine intake is like horrible. But um, coffee, the little Welch is like fruit snacks. I think now I'm more based. Now that I'm like more experienced in being on sets and stuff like
Mhm.
that, whenever they ask whatever I request, it's protein based, more things that I can get energy rather than like super unhealthy stuff that I usually like to eat. Because I'm like, maybe I should have energy for this 21-hour day. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. I think I need a coffee plus a Red Bull. I need some energy.
I'm like, maybe like I should have a sandwich. Maybe I should eat an actual meal. But
and, and where was it filmed at? Like where did they shoot the film?
it was kind of all over the place. We shot
Oh, okay.
some areas. It was all over Florida. So some areas. It was here in Kissimmee for like the diner scene. It's called the
Yeah.
Cup Diner, which I believe the producer's sister owns. I could be wrong. Um, and just all around Orlando, Altamont, all around Florida, which is great because the actual film is based in Florida, Del City, Florida, which is like a made up
Yeah.
land.
Well, you didn't have to really travel far then, right? To film it.
No, not really. It was just yeah, kind of, and we explored places we'd never seen before in Florida, so that was
Oh,
also
really?
yeah. Now I know a few like little places here, and then I'm like, okay, I'm officially a Florida local.
You're like, okay, I'm gonna eat at this place. I'm gonna have a drink at this one.
Exactly. I'm like, okay, here's a new boba place. Go here.
Nice. And when you're not doing 100 different things with acting and modeling and singing and all that stuff, like what do you like doing during your free time?
Oof. I I watch movies. I go out. I love to go out dancing, like with my cousins and with my friends, and like
Nice.
or experience the Orlando nightlife sometimes, or sometimes we'll
Yes.
host movie nights here. So if you're ever down in Florida, come to our movie night.
Oh my God,
um,
yeah.
yeah, for real, hit me up. We'll totally do it. Um, So yeah, any like new movies that probably have like are not on theaters anymore, then we'll just see them at the house. What else? I skateboard too. So
Oh
I do a
wow,
little bit of
okay.
that. I like tennis. I enjoy most sports, but I think too, I just like to, I'm not great at all sports, but I like doing them. I'll make that very clear. Because I said that to somebody, my little sister was like, that's such a lie. You're not good at any sports. And I was like, really, Chelsea? Really? I like them. It doesn't mean I'm good at them. But yeah, hanging out with my friends and doing makeup artistry. I'm a makeup artist as well, so I do that.
Wow.
And scrolling on TikTok is a very time-consuming hobby that I have over
Oh
there.
my
So
God,
it's,
it really is.
yeah, oh my gosh. But making
I
clothes too. So.
oh, you make clothes too.
Sewing, yeah. I like
Wow.
put together thrift flips. I like thrifting, tons of different stuff.
Wow, you just love doing everything, huh?
I'm like, I have to learn how to do this. Oh, I love baking too. Oh my gosh, I'm into a pie craze. I will send you a pie. Rocco, I will send you a pie.
Okay.
I'm in my pie phase officially. This like spring, my pie phase.
Well, okay, so what kind of pie do you like doing the most? Like, is apple, pumpkin, blueberry?
Okay,
Like,
I'm gonna
what
say
kind
my
of
answer, but then you have to tell me your answer afterwards, okay?
flavor? Okay.
So most like artificial cherries actually give me a headache. So I have to have like real cherries for me to make a cherry pie. But
Yeah,
my
yeah.
favorite pie is classic apple pie a la mode.
Oh, with the ice cream, yeah.
What about you?
I mean, I'm not saying it because you're saying it. No, my favorite is the apple pie. Like, did you ever have like I think it's called a Dutch apple pie.
I
I
think I
think it's like
have.
a different version of it.
Wait, I'm gonna make that next. Don't tell anybody. They're like I'm constantly in the kitchen now making my pie obsession, my cookie obsession. I'm just trying to make cooking. I have to get to, but that's
Okay.
another story.
Well, that's what they have ooh, what's it called, door dash
Oh
and all
yeah,
that.
DoorDash.
So you don't have to cook. You just pick up the phone, put down what you want, and they bring the food to you.
You're very, very true. That's very Uber Eats.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Or you could just bake pies and have them for dinner.
Exactly. Why can't I just do that, right? Ugh, okay. When you're in Florida, I'll make you a pie. We'll have movie night, okay?
Okay, cool. Yeah, definitely.
Sounds good.
Mm, some some apple pie and movie. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you'll meet all my cousins, all my friends, and
There
everything.
you
It's
go.
fun. You'll have fun.
And and what about songs? Like, what kind of music do you like?
Oof, well, R&B and pop. Again, hip hop. I'm really
Hmm.
into. I am such a barb. I love Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Remy Wolf is just amazing. She's an artist that is like my dream collaborator one day. Obviously, Beyonce. That's like
Of
an obvious
course.
answer. Um, I'm into like Lana Del Rey. I really like who else? Drake, um, Ariana Grande, like those types of artists. Mostly, I would say my taste is mostly like pop based, but
Okay.
I have a pretty. If you see my Spotify playlist, maybe I'll share it one day. It's fairly eclectic.
And what about Taylor Swift? Are you a Swift is Swifty?
Oh, that is a good question. I don't know. I feel like nowadays fan bases are like more based in like if you don't know like what her blood type is and
I
like
know.
how much she weighs and
Yeah.
all these things, and you're not a real fan. But I would consider myself a Swiftie. I like some of her stuff. I haven't fully explored her discography because it's
Yeah.
so huge.
I know
But
she does have a lot of songs. Yeah.
I know a lot. I have a lot of Swiftie friends, so I think slowly but surely they're trying to inject me with the Swifty Swifty fever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she was just here in Philly not too long ago, like probably
Mm.
about 3, 4 months back, and she came here to do a show, and she stopped at this food place in Philly. Well, I mean, she didn't stop. She had her person go in, and they ordered like a whole bunch of cheesesteaks and pizza, and they were interviewed about making food for Taylor Swift, and everybody went there after for like a month
Oh,
straight. Like they were so busy. Like everyone was going there to order cheesesteaks and pizza because Taylor Swift wanted to eat there.
did you ever go?
I have, yeah. Like I went before she went there, but their food is actually good. And
Oh my gosh. I now I have to try it. Okay. When you come here, we're gonna have movie night at Have Pie, but when I go over there, you're gonna show me the Philly hot spots. Deal?
definitely, yes, yes. Philly's known for cheesesteaks, so I'll show you the right ones
Ooh,
because
I
there's
love
there's so
cheesesteak.
many different cheesesteak places in Philly that claim that they're the best, but some really aren't. It's just a tourist attraction, and so I'll definitely show you the good ones.
I love Philly cheesesteak. I love them. They're the best.
Nice. And if you were out with friends having a little drink or whatever, what would be your go-to karaoke song if you were gonna sing?
Oh my gosh, this is like I love these questions so much. Man, well again, like I'm a singer, so like well, you know what's a weird pick? Lately, I had just watched The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And so that song, I think it's a Lucy Gray Bird song that she sings in the movie, so definitely that one. I love singing. I love Tori Kelly. What
Yes.
else? Whitney Houston for sure.
Oh
Definitely
wow. Okay.
Usher. Throwbacks for sure. Like In Sync, all that good stuff. Britney Spears.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It if I do a karaoke song, it has to be something that everyone could sing because my voice is horrible. And I'll like start the song off, and then when the people at the bar or the restaurant are all singing, then I'll quietly like stop, and they'll be singing and not realize
Like,
I stopped singing.
like bye.
I'm like, yeah, don't stop. They'll like believe it.
I know, right? That's when you have to show them like to everybody else when the high note comes. Like,
Yeah,
don't stop.
exactly. And then they're all going, yeah, and they're doing all like the high notes and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, okay, good. And then
Oh
like
no, yeah, good one.
and then you get the host and he's like, you did a great job, Rocco. Thank you. I'm like, yeah, of course.
No, not the pity. Good job. Oh my gosh, that's the worst. I would leave. No,
I
get me out of
know.
here.
Oh man. And I'm a big horror fan, so I always ask guests this. Are there any horror films that you like watching?
Rocco, we gotta do this again because these are just my favorite questions. I'm a horror girl.
Wait, really?
I love horror. I love
Oh my
thrillers.
God,
I
get
love
out.
horror. Um, I mean, I literally have like 4 or 5 different horror shirts in my closet right now. Like
Nice.
Saw is it's one of my favorite franchises, horror franchises. I think top horror movies though probably have to be The Exorcist. The
Yeah.
Exorcist, in my opinion, is the scariest movie there is. Close second
That's
to
really
that.
scary. It is. It is.
And people think that because it was made back in the day that it wasn't scary. You need to look at the lore and then come back to me, watch it. My my whole gauge for that is if you think that a movie is not that scary, watch it alone, turn off all the lights in your
Hmm.
room, and then come back to me. But Exorcist, I love Jordan Peele. I love Ari
Yes.
Aster stuff.
Yes.
Midsommar, whatever, Insidious, The
Oh,
Conjuring. I've seen The
yes.
Conjuring literally probably over 40 or 50 times. I'm not even kidding. The Conjuring series is just one of my favorite franchises as well. Jordan Peele, Get Out. Nope was amazing. I could go on and on and on, but
Oh
yeah.
my God. Like when you talked about the scariest movie ever, the Exorcist, and I remember when they put it back out in the movies because they added scenes to it. And the one scene that they added, that scene freaks me out so much when Linda Blair is going down the steps backwards. Did you see that scene?
I was gonna say I need to see. It's probably the director's cut, right?
Yeah.
I need to see that then.
Yeah, like she is literally like going down the steps backwards.
Yes,
And
I know what you're talking about.
it
I
was
know.
the
I totally know what you're
freakiest
talking
thing
about.
I ever seen because like, that was like a old movie, so they didn't have all those special effects and CGI and camera tricks. Like that was like actually like really happening, and
Yes.
it was like the scariest thing.
The lore behind it too, the fact that they were like really haunted and the girl that
I
played
know,
her, the main character, was really haunted.
I
I
know.
literally, it's so scary to me. I've only watched it, I think, once, maybe twice in my life.
Oh,
I just
okay.
revisited it last year. But I think I'm gonna, speaking to you now, I think I'm gonna watch it. If there is a director's cut, I wanna with that.
Yeah, like that scene, like every time I watch it, that scene always gets me when she's the whole going down the steps backwards thing and walking on all fours as she's going down the steps. Oh.
Yeah, because I feel like nowadays they more focus on like jump scares and all that stuff. And it's
Mhm.
like, if you look back in the day of all of those horror films that happened, they didn't have all of the SFX. They had to do that with their own bare hands. A
I
lot of
know.
that was just handmade.
I
But
know.
Ari Aster, Hereditary, I don't know if you've seen it. It's
Oh
definitely
yeah.
close second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. That was freaky.
Yes.
And
We'll have
so,
to talk about this later on for sure.
oh my God, yes. Another horror fan. I love that. Is there any place you would love to travel to that you haven't seen?
Oh, Egypt.
Oh,
Um,
really? Okay.
on my spirit, it's my honestly, it's my dream to become an Egyptologist one day. I'm like
Oh,
really
wow.
into just the history of Egypt and pharaohs and the pyramids and everything there. I would just love to go to Africa just in general.
Yeah.
But just to like see a pyramid in real life and the tombs and the fact that they're still discovering things to this day and how it's connected to so many events that have happened in our world today in
Mhm.
modern day time, but also in space. Like they refer to a lot of things and possibly aliens. I think that
Yes.
looking
Yes.
back on history, we can tell a lot about what's possibly going to happen in the future, if that makes any sense. So,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely Egypt.
Hey, if there are aliens like on another planet and or if they're here, I'll be like, hey, what's up? How's it going?
I know there was like something that happened in Miami recently where I was like, all right, I guess we have aliens now. I don't.
Yeah. Just as long as they're nice and not trying to blow up the world like the Will Smith film.
Oh gosh, yeah. And I Robot too. So don't forget that
Yes,
one.
yes, that's right.
We also have to watch out for AI.
Yeah. As long as they're nice and they they don't try to kill us, I'm fine.
Fingers crossed. But if they do, I mean, there's really nothing we can do about it. But at least we
Yeah,
can say we got killed by robots or aliens.
that's true. We created this artificial intelligence and now we got killed by them. Oh well, whatever.
Killed by our own creation. Killed by our own creation. Or what is that? Live and die by your sword.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go. Is there anything coming up for you that you want to plug? Like anything you're working on? I know you work on music. Anything with film?
Yeah, well, you can, I guess now's my time to plug. You can actually follow me on all of my social media at Sabrina Joy J, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And I have a film coming out. It's called Spider and Jesse. Hopefully, it's gonna come out very soon. I'm super excited about it. There are a lot of talented people attached to it, so I'm super stoked about that one. Of course, go watch Egghead and Twinkie if you haven't seen it already. Do it. I'm not gonna blink until you do it. I'm just kidding. Um, and yeah, look out for my socials. Keep up with me if you're gonna watch. If you want to get into any new music. Also, I'd like to plug some charities if that's okay.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Go check out. You can donate your time or profit to the Trevor Project. It is just straight thetrevorproject.org. An amazing resource for a suicide hotline that helps LGBTQ plus youth and just youth in general. It's a really good cause that I believe in. Also, Give Kids the World, which helps children with illnesses. It's just gktw.org, another amazing organization that helps, again, children and their families with their wish fulfillment. So go check those out.
Oh wow. Well, I'll definitely make sure to put like the links in there and stuff that people could go and click
Thank
and
you.
help. Yeah, definitely. Those are really great causes. Like I actually heard of the
Trevor
Trevor
Project, yeah.
Project. Like I actually heard of that one. Yeah.
I volunteered for Give Kids the World as well. So I can tell you by experience, they're amazing. So if you can just, even if it's like once a month or like a few times a year, you can give your time or your profits to them. They're very special organizations and they're going to help a lot of people.
Awesome.
So.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Like this has been so much fun. Like I really had fun chatting and talking about everything from horror and ice and snow and
And
cheesesteaks and
aliens.
everything else in between. Getting killed by swords
I
and
know we pretty much covered life and death here. We've covered it all.
I know exactly. Yeah, thank you so much for doing this. Like we definitely have to stay in touch. Like this has been fun.
Oh, thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate it and thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun too.
Definitely, yeah. Well, have a great night and great rest of the week and I'm sure you'll be baking some pies later, right?
Yes, I mean, my mom wants a cherry pie, so maybe I'll be making that. But thank you so much for having me. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Well, all right. Thanks again and have a really good night.
You as well. Happy New Year and also Happy Lunar New Year coming up.
Thank you. And wait, oh, there we go. And stop.